Welcome to the Ultimate Dental Podcast, the place where you can learn how to create a dental practice and a business life that you love. Listen in with Dr. David Moffet as he interviews successful entrepreneurs and successful business people and successful dentists as they share their business successes, their stories, and their breakthrough ideas, sharing pearls of wisdom that you can take back to your practice and implement immediately so that you can have that great practice with more patients, higher profits, and less stress. This is the podcast where great dental practices meet with successful business processes. Thanks for tuning in to the Ultimate Dental Podcast, the podcast where thought leaders, industry experts, and thriving practice owners reveal their very best tips, tools, and strategies that will help you grow your dental practice faster. Now, here's your host, Dr. David Moffet.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to today's episode of the Ultimate Dental Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. David Moffet. I am, as usual, broadcasting from Burrowang, New South Wales, where it's just gone 9:30 on Wednesday morning, and it gives me great pleasure to welcome a very old friend of mine. He's not old, but he and I have been friends for a long time. Terry Brock in Orlando, Florida, where, Terry, it is 7:30.
Yes, it's 19:35 here, 7:35 in the evening. And lately it's been getting dark at night here. So I'm thinking it will do that again tonight.
Yeah, it's as regularly as night follows day, I suppose. And
Something like that. Yes.
something like that. Now, we met a long time ago through a good friend of yours and mine, Winston Marsh.
Yes.
And I think you came to Melbourne to talk to a group of dentists. So I was going to wonder what second prize was, because that's a pretty tough audience. And then again, you and Gina presented to a group of dentists, many of them the same, in Sydney as well, a couple of years after that. And I think I was allowed to sneak my daughter in, Kate, who's very tech savvy as a result of that, and as a result of the year that she was born as well. But anyway, Terry, I wanted to catch up with you for the Ultimate Dental Podcast because I always remember that if there was any new gadgets or devices or software around, you were the guy who was on top of everything. So I wanted to you to share your story with my viewers and listeners, but also to maybe, as we get towards the second half of the podcast, to just talk about what's the next big things that you're seeing. And of course, that'll probably include AI, I suppose. But let's start at the start as to how did you get into being so tech savvy a long time ago, before tech was even tech? And what's been the progress of your journey through that, the highs and the lows?
I guess it started when I was a kid, about 11 or 12 years old. And I saw this newfangled contraption called audio cassettes. Remember those? Long, long ago. I'm dating myself here. But I learned those. I thought, this is great. I can actually record something and then use it over and over and listen to it. So I taught myself how to do that and started playing with it and having a lot of fun, and got very fascinated with audio and video and how to do that. So when it came time that I could do it, when I was a junior in high school in 11th grade, I started working in a radio station, and that was kind of fun. And then started working in a newspaper as well. And I worked for, actually, it was a community newspaper in a little town called Jackson, Michigan, which is up north, a little small town, but I was covering it. I actually interviewed a senator from the state of Michigan in Lansing, and the paper liked what I did. A couple of months later, they sent me to Washington, D.C., and I covered Richard Nixon's inauguration, which was something, for those of you who don't know, you'll have to Google that or use ChatGPT and look it up. President of the United States long ago. And I got a chance to do that. So I got very interested in media, using technology, and how do we do that better? And the idea of writing and being a journalist really appealed to me. So I stayed in radio, did that. And then for undergrad school, major turned out to be radio, TV, and newspaper, working in all of those media, getting a chance to see what it's like. Then after I got out of that, I realized I need to know about this thing called business. Somebody said, what's your P&L? I said, what does that stand for? Because we didn't study a whole lot of that stuff in broadcast. But I said, what is that? So decided I need to go back and get one of those MBA thingies. So I went back, and after 4,000 years, at least it seemed like that long, I finally got it. The 2 years and a quarter took about that long, and got out and worked in radio, worked in newspaper again. And then what I've finally done is look at technology. And now, David, think about it. What you and I are doing right now, we're on the other side of the world from each other, but we can still use this with a very low cost tool using Riverside, which is exceptionally good. We love that, getting real good quality that would have cost us huge amounts of money to do back in the 70s, the 60s. Couldn't even do a lot of it. The quality wasn't near as good. So for me, technology is great because it gives us a way to leverage what we're doing and serve people more. Be able to help them put the systems in place. I don't like what you have done with your programs of helping to empower the patients. You have that unlimited patient program, so you're able to help them to do it. You're looking at how can we help people first. Then you built your system around that, not from the eyes of the practitioners, as wonderful as they are. We love our hygienists, we love our dentists, we love those people. You're looking at it from the patient's point of view and see what the patient is encountering, what they're going through, and what you can do to develop systems that makes that easier. That's really, when you think about it, what technology is. We take a thing like this right here. I got my smartphone. I can use this, and with that smartphone, I can connect with people around the world. I can write better. I can use it for audio, use it for video, and the video is far better than what we had years ago. And it's just right here in the palm of my hand. And today, I'm writing my concept or my emails that I'm sending out, and I could literally talk to Chat GPT, and it talks back to me, helping me, giving me instructions, training me. I'm studying Spanish right now. Got a long way to go, but studying that, I'll talk to it and say, how do you say such and such in Spanish? And it will talk to me and tell me what the phrase is. I'll try it, and it'll come back and say, well, Terry, that's good, but let's try this last word again. It's pronounced da, 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 da. I go, okay, I'll try it again. And we'll do that probably 10 or 15 times. I'm not that smart, but it is patient with me more than a human. And you think that's what technology is doing. That right now, David, we've got the tools so that anyone on the planet can get the very best tutors in almost any given topic, tutors that are alive or no longer with us, and show us how to do whatever task we need. Think about how that's going to be revolutionizing schools and universities. Think about the dental profession and how we're going to be able to learn that way using our tools of AI. Using those, I'm not saying we're going to throw away the universities, but they definitely have to adapt and adjust and see what it's like, where they're going. I was listening to years ago Clayton Christensen at a conference there at the university. And he was talking about how universities have to change. They've got to adapt and adjust to a new world that is changing rapidly. And now with AI, Clayton's no longer with us, but with AI, even faster. So that we're seeing all these new changes. It can be a little bit overwhelming at times, but if we do it the right way and think through how do we help the patient first, the customer, the client, the member, whatever term we use for those wonderful people who pay the bills, help them out, we're going to be able to do much better and be able to help others using the technology just to make it easier on us and help others more.
It's amazing where it's come, Terry. I was a friend of mine coaches allied health and physiotherapists, and he done a 4-day mastermind with recordings of leading technology people helping that part of the health profession. And one of the things that he kept saying was, if you think AI is not up to speed now, this is the worst it's going to be, because
Yes.
3 months ago it was worse than this, and 3 months before that it was worse than that. It's always getting better. And in fact, he was talking about AI for the use of AI for answering phones. And he was talking to someone, and he said, in your presentation, you actually had your AI made a mistake in answering the phone. And he said, you could have edited that out, but you didn't. Why did you leave that in? And the presenter said, the reason I left that in was to show you that, yes, AI does make one mistake. And people will say, well, I'm not using AI because it could make a mistake. But then you say, well, how many mistakes are real people making answering your phone, not picking up the
Exactly.
phone, having a bad day? And that's the difference between, AI, I think you know it, you've heard it. It's not going to do people out of a job. It's actually going to help people be better at their job because it's raising the bar. It's the rising tide. Those who are going to be out of a job are the ones who are left behind, but it's going to create more jobs for people in terms of what there is to
Yes, absolutely. There's going to be additional jobs there. Interesting you say that because just this morning I was writing my email that I send out every Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, and I talked about jobs that have been lost through the years. Think about it, farmers that used to use oxen or cows or whatever beast of burden, and they'd plow the fields. Well, we don't do that very often around the world. Even in rural countries and countries that are not doing as well, they're still finding ways to use machinery. Well, should we say, oh, that's wrong? It put those farmers out of business. Well, no, farmers had to adapt and adjust. Just like another person that doesn't, years ago, they hired people to press the buttons in the elevator so people would know where to go. Well, now here's somebody that was working at that and they might have had a career in that. They were replaced by buttons. Whoa. And you think telephone switchboard operators. I was talking about that. You can do that. And now we don't use it. We use our smartphone and we get much better. And by the way, as a side note, for those that are creating content, when I was putting that together, and one of the examples was literally the switchboard operators, what I did, I was using Google Docs. I went into Google Docs, clicked on Insert, Create an Image, and Google Docs then asked me what I wanted. I said, I want an image that's a photograph quality of two women at a switchboard typing in, plugging in the wires, and show me them in the close of that day. About 20, 25 seconds later, it gave me 4 pictures that were just right, that you would look like you had just gone back to the 50s and took a color picture of them. I just included that in what I'm doing. Think about what we can do. David, you and I are communicators. We're speakers, we're writers, we do this. Sometimes just the right picture changes everything, makes it even better. Well, now you can do that by just thinking through, what do I want? And right there in Google Docs, I can do it. Of course, you can also do it in ChatGPT, in Gemini, and Midjourney. There's several tools that can do that. I really am fascinated with what we can do. And I think we've got a lot of good here. And yeah, people are going to lose their job because of it, simply because things have changed. We don't need the people that do these kind of things. We don't see many secretarial pools typing on IBM Selectric typewriters. It just doesn't exist. But we do now have tools that are data engineers. We have systems analysts like we didn't have before. Matter of fact, we even have a thing now that we didn't know until November of 2022, just a few years ago, a prompt engineer. If we'd come back in early 2020, I said, David, we're going to need a prompt engineer. You'd think, what in the world are you talking about, Terry? What is that? Well, now we know that's important. Well, things keep changing. So the real key is what we have to do throughout history is, I learned from the United States Marines, improvise, adapt, and overcome. If we can learn to improvise, adapt, and overcome, no matter what hits us, we're going to do well. It's not going to be easy. It's going to hurt. It's going to hurt bad sometimes. We're going to bleed a little bit sometimes. Hey, welcome to planet Earth. It works that way here. So what we've got to do is keep learning, keep adjusting, and realize it's going to happen, and we will adapt and make it happen.
Terry, wonderful thoughts there. I'm just using this instrument here, which you can write with, but it's also something that you can rewind an audio cassette with.
There you go. Yes, indeed. They work really well for rewinding. You put it in there and turn a little bit.
Spin it around, improvise, adapt, overcome.
You and I are showing our age here.
We are, but I was thinking, and it often happens to me to show my age when I think, and I'm listening to music that I grew up with, and I hear lines in the music, and you go, somebody born in the 90s or the 21st century doesn't even know what that means. So if I said to you, and the operator said 40 cents more for the next 3 minutes, what would they think is going on? Or the papers want to know whose shirt you wear. Like,
exactly.
What's a paper?
We'd be saying, oh, please, Miss Mary, I just want to talk to her, or something like that from that song.
That's it. Exactly. So again, history has these I keep thinking about, where are these phrases in these songs of things that we don't need anymore? And the classic one, I remember back in the 90s would say, nobody's doing typewriter repair as a career anymore because
Yeah.
long gone. I think when they went from the daisy wheel, and then IBM had the typewriter with the ball.
Yeah, the Selectric.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was
amazing.
the key thing, and they would hire banks of typists who were predominantly women, 99% women, that would type on that, and I thought, "Wow, they had a skill typing that was gonna be good forever." Well, we still do some typing, but not as much, and now we know we can talk faster than we can type, so we use voice dictation. Not perfect, but then neither was our typing, but that's okay, we learn and adapt.
Well, I think the thing about voice dictation, Terry, and this is a really good thing that we can talk about, is that in the initial days, it was terrible. It was really, really bad. But
Yeah, it
now
was like
it
it was hilarious too. Gave us a lot of good laughs too. And went really well with some good adult beverages. You have those and listen to that. You have a great time with friends.
But now it learns from what you said yesterday, especially in medical technology. Once you've said it in medical technology and corrected it, medical terminology, it's there. It's there in the memory. So you're not having to repeat yourself over and over, which is great because, again, it's the proficiency. But that's something in dentistry that I'm finding with my clients to embrace the thing. They're spending so much time typing clinical notes. And I say,
Typing.
yeah, putting them in between patients as well, not even dictating. I used to dictate and then they'd be typed in by somebody else at the end of the
Yeah,
day.
then you get somebody else with headphones on and they would type away.
But, I'm off to visit an orthopedic surgeon today about an injury to my foot. But I remember visiting a surgeon last year and he says to me, do you mind if I record this? I say, no, of course not. And he just puts his phone down and their conversation is recorded and it's then transcribed and
Yep.
it goes straight into the notes so much quicker so that he can then generate those $500 an hour appointments every 10 minutes much quicker than if he was typing.
Absolutely. And the beauty of it is also not only do we get the audio and the transcript, but now we can go back and say, I want to know every time the patient said this, or every time we'll use this term, or tell me everything that's going on here. Matter of fact, as we're talking right now, I'm using a little thing here on my phone called Cast Magic. And Cast Magic is recording this. It's taking it, and then it will take it and refine it, giving me keywords, key phrases, all of that. So if I can say, how many times did David talk about this topic or that? We've got it right there. The technology, when we use it right, can serve us very well.
So here's something that we spoke about before we started recording this, that you would be able to tell me the latest things in technology, and share them with our viewers and listeners here. So Cast Magic, how long have you been using that? Because that seems like a game changer in terms of
Yes.
being able to analyze what you've said, or as to say, did I really say that? Or how many times did I say that to, especially for a doctor or even somebody just doing coaching? Did I say that to that client, that client, that client, that client? Which one did I say it to? Now
Yes.
this seems to be able to help you analyze whether you said the thing that you meant to say in that conversation and whether you
Precisely.
didn't. Yeah. So tell us about Cast Magic.
Cast Magic was originally designed for podcast, hence the name Cast Magic. But we discovered, hey, this can do even more. Yeah, it does a great job with podcasts, recording it and then giving you an intro or giving you the key points or translating it into, in my case, Spanish. So I can get a summary or the full thing in Spanish and in English. I can go back and get headlines of it, or I can put an introduction in there. And the introduction, when it would first come out, would say, in this episode, Terry Brock talks about this, and he says this and this. And I looked at that. I said, I don't like that. I want it to be personal. I want it to be first person in me. Change that so it is in first person. So it went in, and about 20 seconds later, it took the whole broadcast, whether that's a 20-minute, an hour, whatever it is, it took it real fast, and it changed it to, hi, this is Terry, and today I want to talk with you about, and it changed it to first person like that. Now, could I have done that? Sure, we all could. Just it takes this much time. Notice my hands are off the screen. You can't see them, but it did it in this much time, much closer. So it's really empowering us to get a lot more done faster and to create even more value, because then it also will create a LinkedIn post for me. It will create a Twitter, now X, feed for me. It will give me all the information I need on a given topics, and it can create some information for clips so I can go back and say, oh, in that interview I had with David Moffet, I loved what he said about the oogie flops. They're at 13 minutes, 27 seconds to 14 minutes and 35 seconds. That little section, highlight it, and it creates a brand new MP4 that we can then put out there on the net, which people would hear and go, oh, I like what David said about that. And there's a little note below it says, to hear the entire broadcast, click here. And Cast Magic takes care of that beautifully.
Love it. Love it. I'm sold, Terry.
That's a good one. And by the way, while we're on that, if you don't mind mention another one that's really helpful.
Yes.
I use Cast Magic all the time. I also use another one called Taja, Taja. Taja does some similar things, but it also does even more. Not only does it go back when I say, okay, we got, say, an hour interview with someone. You put that in there, then it will go through and crunch that and look at AI and say, oh, you realize at 23 minutes, 17 seconds, you started talking about the oogie flops. And that's really big in this industry. People are doing lots of queries on oogie flops. What's going on with oogie flops? Okay, well, you work with me on this. I'm making it up. But something like that, it will find that based on not what Terry thinks is a great idea, but rather what the AI is saying, this is what people want. People in your audiences like yours are asking for that. And then it'll give you that clip all done, tidied up, everything just right with subtitles. You can put in B-roll if you want. And then you look at the scheduler that it has. So you say, okay, schedule this one to go out next Tuesday at 4 p.m. because we have found that's a good time for my audience. If you've done your research on that, you put that out there and send it, and you just schedule that. We're doing that now and getting literally thousands more views on the videos we have, not only those shorts that it gives us and the other clips that it gives us that might be 2, 5, 10 minutes or so, whatever it is, but also then people see that and they want to watch the full interview. So it is amazing what Taja does. I couple it with Cast Magic. There's a little bit of overlap, but enough so that if one isn't working, I've got the other. And this is technology, and I found it's giving us a real boost. It's what Gina and I are doing in our work. So I highly recommend look at those technologies and see how it can help you to do more than what you've been able to do before. Not just do it a little bit faster, but do things that you hadn't thought about doing, but can give you a real competitive advantage in the marketplace.
So do you have to record live into Taja, or you can take a recording and copy it into Taja?
Oh yeah, with Taja, what I do is I usually say, here's the URL for the YouTube video. So I've already recorded the YouTube video. It takes it, grabs it, takes a look at it, says, okay, we'll go munch on it and come up with all these different things. We'll do all those different shorts for you, do clips that are of different sizes. And of course, like I mentioned, LinkedIn, a blog post. It'll give you the X feed that you can use. Now, I would recommend do not just copy and paste it. You could, but don't do that. Instead, you want to, what I like to call, you-ize it. You want to put your own feeling in there, your own thoughts, your own ideas. For instance, David, if you were doing this, I'd say it's important that you Davidize it. If Jane, your wife, is doing it, I'd say she'd want to Jane-ize it. For me, I like to Terry-ize it. Just sounds kind of cool that way. So I mean, Terry-ize the thing, put it in there. In other words, I'm putting my feelings in. That seminar, David, that you went to last March, where the speaker was exceptionally good, and she said some things you really liked, AI doesn't know about that, but you do. So you can say, I was attending a seminar last March, and Professor Roberta Smith said, da-da-da-da-da. I really agree with her, and that relates to this and this and this. Now you're you-izing it, you're Davidizing it to make sure it's really customized to the needs of the audience and helping them see, hey, we got to listen to a little bit more of what David's doing. He's got some good stuff here.
Now, I'm glad you brought up Taja, because I heard you talk about that in your 10-minute video that I was watching this week, the 5 social media sins killing your engagement. And that wasn't one of the sins. You actually spoke about some of the things that were boosting engagements, and then you went to the 5 sins. But Taja was mentioned in terms of talking about how to maximize the results from short form video.
Yes.
And that's a great example of what you just said about using Taja to increase engagement and get more people to be subscribing to your feeds, and then, investigating whether they should become your client and enjoy the benefits of your coaching as well.
Absolutely. See, what you're doing is you're solving their problems because Taja has gone out and found this and this and that one over there, little segments that you and I might not know about, but it's sending it out for hundreds of thousands, even millions of little bots checking to see what people are saying all over the internet, on Twitter, now X. Are they looking at Facebook? They're looking at LinkedIn. They're looking at other websites. They're looking at Reddit. Very important. Reddit's real good. By the way, here's real secret. You want to do some serious research, what people are looking for, use tools like Taja, use tools like ChatGPT and others that can look specifically at Reddit. Now, there's others too. Yes, Reddit's good because that's where people, they tell you what they really think. I really like this thing, or this one's no good. Well, they'll use a few colorful military terms. And you say, here, this is like this, it's no good whatsoever, et cetera. You want to know that as a marketer, whatever your market is. David, let's think of dentists for a moment. If you look at a dentist and you see people saying, I went to Dr. Smith and it was a terrible experience. Oh, yeah, I had a terrible experience with Dr. Smith. I did too. Whoa, this is good information to know. Or on the flip side, Dr. Jones, the best dentist. I was scared of going to the dentist. Dr. Jones made me feel just right. She used the right answer. I could hardly even feel it when she put the needle in. It was really good. Things like that you want to know about. So you can say, we're doing this. We make sure. And also, here's another little thing. Suppose you're in a community where there's several competing dentists around you. Find out what they're saying about them. If they say, I sure don't like this dentist here because this dentist didn't know how to do it without pain. Then what you do, you don't attack that dentist. What you do is you say, we make sure that your dental experience is pain-free. We make sure you're doing it right. I'm not a dentist, so I can't tell you what to do, but I would say, find the areas where people are complaining, where they say, this is bad with this product, with that product. And you say, we have taken steps to help you. You know how you have problem with this and with this? People are going, yeah, how'd you know that? Well, you had AI help you out. We make sure that we don't do this or this, and here's how we do it. With this, this, and this, we make sure that now when they come see you, when they buy your product, you're free of all the bad things they said, and we're giving you these other things right here at a price that is so low you won't even believe it. Give us a call, and we'll talk to you about it now. So something like that AI gives us the tools as never before to do that sensitivity analysis, sentiment analysis, we call it. That sentiment analysis, what people are saying, what they're feeling, and where they're happy, where they're not. You want to know that. You want to listen a little bit better. My buddy Chris Brogan talks about it. He says, what we need to do is grow bigger ears, listen more, grow bigger ears, and pay attention to what people are saying they like and what they don't like. And instead of sometimes what we do, I don't know about you, Dave, but sometimes I thought, well, my gut tells me that we ought to do this. Well, Terry, with all due respect to your gut, it can be wrong. I'm going to trust the data. The data says this is what people like. This is what they don't like right now. In the last 30 days, I have built-in prompts that I run regularly over the last X days, whether that's 4 weeks or 2 weeks or 6 weeks, and have the prompt look at all these places. What are all the folks saying about this topic and that one? Oh, and by the way, what are the top 10 topics that they're writing about, where they're most interested? So when I want to put out a piece of content, a new video, a new podcast, a new blog, a new LinkedIn, whatever it is going to be, let's find out what people are really looking for. What do they like and what they don't like? And the research capability with ChatGPT, with Perplexity. Oh my goodness, Perplexity Labs. If you're not using Perplexity Labs, you want to look into that. It is fabulous for research. So the tools are out there. I say it's important to look at those and learn how to use them.
Just writing that down. Tell me more about Perplexity Labs, Terry.
Perplexity Labs gives you the ability to do research seriously at a PhD dissertation level of quality. It'll come on and do some research to find out what's going on, and it's going to take more than the 30 to 60 seconds that we've seen before. This one could take, it'll tell you sometimes 9 minutes, 15 minutes, but then it's going in there doing the kind of research that you would do at a PhD level for a dissertation, which is going to take you a lot more than 30 minutes out here. I don't have a PhD. For those friends of mine who do, that yeah, it takes a while to do that. David, you know that, and getting your doctorate, they don't just give those away at the University of Sydney where you went. They do a lot. You have to study for it. And I'm thinking it took a little bit longer than 30 seconds for you to get that.
Yeah.
Well, now you can get it and be able to put it together. I'll give you an example. Just recently, we worked with a client of ours. We met through the Harvard Club here in Orlando, and we got a chance to know them. They're from China and in charge of some major gaming production. They're manufacturers of it, and they're looking at what consumers are looking for today. Gina and I knew very little about the gaming industry, but we did the research using Perplexity Labs. We went out there, we did the research. We came back with about 30 pages of information that we put together. We customized it to what we were doing, put in our own ideas and thoughts, sent it over to them, and they were flabbergasted. They said, "This is amazing. We thought we knew this. We checked you out. And everything you said was true. We hadn't thought about this, and this." City Labs is going really deep in this. Now, it costs $20 a month to get it, and you have a limited number with that. They have a $200 version of it that gives you even more. This is a business decision. David, I have to laugh at the people that sit back and go, "Well, I'm not going to pay $20 a month for that. I can get it for free. I'm just going to stay on the free plan." Good. I hope they're my competitors, because that kind of idea and thinking is not going to serve you well going forward. Now, it doesn't mean you need to buy $300 billion a month of tools that are out there. No. This is called business. When I went to business school, they told us it's called an return on investment is what you're looking for. What something costs, frankly, is irrelevant. If I said, "David, I got something that's going to cost you $100,000 a month." Whoa, that's a lot of money. Yeah, but we're going to guarantee you it's going to give you at least $2 million a month. In writing. Yeah, legally contract. Okay, we're going to guarantee that. You say, "Well, sign me up." The 100,000 then doesn't mean anything. What matters is not how much you're paying, but what kind of return are you going to get on it? And you try to get, this is serious. It's business. And you look at what we can do to make it work. And we use the tools, the Perplexity Labs, it's there, the deep research that is now in ChatGPT 5. It's comparable. It's really good. They're like this, racing each other. This week it's this one. Next week it's this one. And they go, and don't forget, one where you can get a real sneaky advantage. Some people don't want to use it, but it gives you some powerful answers rapidly. Grok. Hey, I like to tell people they need to grok with Brock. That would be me. So grok with Brock, get in there and see what it is it's going to give you answers. So can I share with you a little secret here? You're not going to tell anybody else, right, David?
No.
Just us. Okay, just between us. What I do is I'll take the same prompt that I'm using in ChatGPT and in Perplexity, probably tied into Claude, because Perplexity lets you tap into that, and Grok. And I give the same prompt to all three of them and let them all chunk it down to look at an article that I've just written. And I want them to revise it, improve it, tell me some other things, but keep it in my voice and my words. And I'll see similarities, but I also see just enough of a difference between them so that it takes what I'm doing and elevates it to a whole new level. Even better. So my final presentation now is really a compilation of at least those three, pulling the best from this, from that, and that one. I don't want this part, but I do want this part. Put them together. Now I'm creating the kind of content that is going to be customized from me, but also with the best of the input they have. Because one, for instance, Grok might give me two examples that I didn't get from ChatGPT or from Perplexity. And Perplexity gave me one that I didn't see from the other two. That's okay. We want to look at that. When I was in journalism, they'd tell us, you want to get 3 non-corroborating sources. If I go out as a journalist and I say, "Okay, Ms. Smith, what is happening in the such and such field?" If I get her answer and I go back immediately and start typing in, "This is the truth," I'm a dereliction of duty as a journalist. I need to hear her and then someone else that she's not talking with over here. And then another person over here. 3 different things. If they're all saying the same thing, doesn't necessarily mean they're right. All 3 of them could be wrong. But I've got a better chance that by looking at 3 different points of view, I'm going to come closer to the truth. So then I can go back and say, this person said this, and this person over here concurred saying that as well. And this person said this, but with a little different twist on it. Okay, now that's a little more comprehensive. That's what we need to do with the various LLMs, those large language models, and be able to pull from the different ones, use them, and get in there and have fun doing it.
Now, Terry, here's a question, serious. When you're using the 3 of them and you get 3 different versions back, do you manually choose between the 3, or do you feed them into one of them and say, can you combine the Grok, the Perplexity, and the ChatGPT and just give me the best version of the 3 combined?
Yeah, I could do that, and I do it occasionally. Usually, I use my own judgment. just in particular if it's something that I know about. Now, if it's something about geology, we did not study a whole lot of geology when I went to business school. So my knowledge is pretty limited on that, just like dentistry. That, you know what, they didn't cover anything about dentistry when I went to business school. So I'm going to a dentist to help me on that. But what I would do is I would then say, I'm going to take this and I look at it, I go, I kind of like this, or I kind of like that. I'm using my own feelings there, my own idea, but I also will at times say, okay, copy this one, this one, this one, put them all into, say, a Google Doc, then copy the Google Doc and say, okay, give me a synthesis of all of these in 400 words or less, or 800 words or less, or something like that. And show me why you chose what you chose. I do that often when I'm asking it to give me a title. Give me the top 20 titles based on this transcript that I just fed to you. The interview that I had with so and so, take this, give me 20 titles for it, and tell me why you selected this title first and this title second. Give me the reasons why you're doing that. So I'll look at it. And usually I don't go with the first one because it just seems to me, in my experience, they're not as good, but sometimes that second and third or in the fourth are really good. So I'll take the words and combine them together and get a uniquely Terry title that's a little bit different, but also tends to stand out like, oh my goodness, now I'm taking the best of all of these and we get something even special because my readers, my viewers, my listeners deserve the very best.
It's interesting because I was doing that with ChatGPT, to get their first version and then ask them for a refinement and then combining the two manually myself so that it sounded like me as well and not
Yep,
like ChatGPT. You mentioned that at business school they didn't teach you much about dentistry. Well, let
that's
me
right.
tell you a secret. In dental school, they don't teach them much about business. They still don't. And so a lot of dentists are graduating with no business acumen. They don't know how to market, how to sell. They don't know any HR. They don't know any accounting. It's
Yeah,
really it's a horrible. I don't know who invented the model because they've pushed them out with a certificate saying that they can drill teeth, but go and find a dentist who will teach you the bits that we've left out of the course while you're practicing on that dentist patient. And dentists are actually doing that. Year 6, 7, 8 of dental school are actually in somebody else's office. Here's an interesting thing though, and you will know this in your business world, and I find it in coaching. When I ask a dentist, tell me how many new patients you get each month. If that number that they give me ends in a 0, I know that they don't know their numbers. If I ask them how much is their turnover per month and it ends in 3 zeros or worse, 4 zeros, they don't know their numbers. They say,
yeah, exactly.
between 50 and 70,000. Well, which one is it? Because that's a $250,000 difference. If it's a 50,000
Absolutely.
for 12 months, it's the $250,000 difference. Let's get down to exact numbers. And that's an easy way to tell in business, for everybody watching this or listening to this, if you don't know your numbers down to the single dollar, because decimal points, nobody talks in decimal points anymore because they don't
Yeah.
exist.
Yep.
If you don't know your business numbers down to the single digit, then you don't know your numbers. And that was only relevant 30, 40 years ago, Terry, when I started driving. Petrol was it was 12 cents a litre. Now it's a
12
dollar.
cents.
Now it's $1.95 a litre.
Whoa.
So, it's 12 cents a litre. And
Yeah, that's a whole nother thing that we could do. But David, you're absolutely right. And those of you that are watching and listening to this, think about what he just said. That is so true that we've got to make sure that we understand that a dentist has got a business to run and needs to know about the marketing, about the accounting, about HR. Well, guess what? We can do it today better than ever because with ChatGPT 5, just as one example, they have a new feature called Study and Learn. Have you seen that mode, David, in
no, I haven't.
ChatGPT 5?
Well, I've
It's
got
really good.
ChatGPT-5, but I haven't seen that study and learn feature.
Yeah, it's down at the bottom. You click on the button there and it gives you a list of them. You'll go over into some of the other features on the other side. You click on the more and it'll show you study and learn. And here's what it does. Let's say you are a freshly, newly minted dentist. Okay. You're a dentist fresh out of dental school and you don't know how to spell accounting, but you need to learn it. So what you can do is you can go to study and learn within ChatGPT and ask it to act as an excellent coach teaching accounting, particularly for a dental office. Design a course for me where you will ask me questions and I will give answers. And if I'm wrong, you correct me and show me why I am wrong and what the correct answer should be. and tell me why. And I want this a course with X number of modules, 6, 7, 8, 10 modules, so that I can learn how to proficiently run my new dental office in the right way, paying attention to all the numbers that are vitally important based on what other dentists have said. Put that together and let me go through that. Design a course that I will take over the next weekend or the next 4 months or whatever it would be, and start learning about that. So now anything that you would have learned in business school about accounting, you can learn that now on ChatGPT. That is a dramatic change in the way our world is working. And like I was mentioning, Clay Christensen saying this universities have to change. They've got to look at it. Now, smart ones are, and they're saying, okay, what can we do uniquely? Bringing in that technology, we won't throw it out. We've got to adapt. So when you think, gee, I need to know more about marketing, or I need to know more about how do you advertise effectively, simple, sit down and say, tell me what the best dentists in my area are doing for advertising that works, and tell me what doesn't work. Then tell me why they're working and why the others are not working, and anything that maybe they're not doing that would work because it's working in other areas. Look at other dental offices around the country and over in Scotland, in England, in Australia, in the United States, in Japan, wherever that's working, and how I could take that into my environment, into my dental office, and use that in a practical way. David, I couldn't say we can do that even a few months ago. Now we can. That means anything you want to learn, if you're willing to put in the time and effort and learn it and practice with it, answer the questions. This is not just reading something, go, oh yeah, I read it. Nuh-uh. It's coming back and going, okay, David, we got 4 questions here. What about this? Is it A, B, C, or D? And you go, I think it's B. No, it's not B. The answer is C. And here's why. Then we go back and give it to you again and refresh it. So eventually you get an A every time. But you have to go through it. Sometimes you miss some of the equations and the statements. Okay, fine. When you miss it, we go back and do it again. Repetition until you get it. I think the Russians say it real well. Повторение мать учения. Repetition is the mother of learning. So we got to just keep repeating it over and over. And for me, a lot of times, my noggin's not that good. I got to beat it into my head to get this down. But after enough repetitions, then we can start learning it.
Well, I think I'm with you, Terry. I've done a lot of courses twice because I'm not a good learner on the first occasion. Sometimes it's the second occasion where I get these flashes, the BFOs, and I go, well, I missed that on the first one. So
Yeah.
I'm with you on that. It's interesting. I know someone who's recently done some building work, and when things have gone wrong with the build, they've taken the builder's answer and then thrown it into ChatGPT, and ChatGPT kind of throws out the builder's answer and says, this is what we found, boom, 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 as to what the truth is in why that you have that distortion or why you have that leak. And it's a truth serum.
Exactly. It's a truth serum. It's showing, okay, here's what really is going on, and we can learn it. And David, you and I know about this with speakers. For instance, you are a certified speaking professional. I believe the only one in Australia as certified. That's a lot of work. I have my CSP also in the United States. A lot of work to do that. And it means we had to go back and study, and we have to learn and keep practicing. And I think I actually say to those that are in the audience, you ought to consider being a CSP. And I don't mean necessarily a certified speaking professional. That's good. If you're a speaker, be a communicator who solves problems. If you can be a communicator, whatever you're going to choose, spoken word, writing, you're going to use video, many tools out there, pictures, all of these communicate, and then solve problems. Find out what problems people have. Use the tools that we have with AI. Learn a topic. So for instance, as a speaker, we might go and speak to different industries. I speak to a lot of different places around the world, and I don't know all of that, but I can at least do some good research. So beforehand, I can study what, for instance, the Builders Association. I've spoke for some builders. I'm not a builder, but I want to learn their terms, their way of doing it. And by using ChatGPT and Perplexity, I could do the research and find out problems that they're having, what kind of terms they're using. And when I would say their term to them, they'd go, yeah, that is right. I go, yeah, of course. I studied it here. And here's how we do that. And by the way, let me show you how to design the house plan so that you can do it instead of in 2 weeks. We can do it, let's say in the next 60 seconds. What do you say? Watch. And we do it right there on the spot. They see and they go, that's amazing. And they have to hire builders and people that draw this. I go, yeah, but they didn't want it over here. They wanted the porch over on this side. Yeah, that happens all the time. We got to redo the whole. Oh, well, let's do it right now. Put the porch over on the left side rather than the right side. Boom, there it is. 30, 60 seconds later. David, our world has changed dramatically. And there's going to be some ramifications of that. Some things good, some things not quite so good. But that's okay. If we take the idea of improvise, adapt, and overcome, we can make it through whatever hits us.
We certainly can, Terry. And, if you've heard it before, I'll say it now, change is the only constant, really, isn't it?
Yeah. And even that is changing at a different speed.
It's just, yeah. Was it Hogan or Holtz, or was it Wooden? I think it was John Wooden who said, when you're through learning, you're through.
Yeah. John Wooden was right.
Yep, John Wooden, and that's the truth. We've got to always be sponges for learning. Terry, you've opened me up in terms of what there is out there, and now there's more out there. Like they say that once something's on the internet, it's already out of date, and
Yeah.
and so what you've just told me is just whetting my appetite to go and find out more. And hopefully it'll be the same for the dental profession and other business people who listen to my podcast and watch my podcast and just say, wow, that has really opened my eyes as to what people are doing outside of dentistry, how they can use it in dentistry or how they could use it in other industries as well. There is just so much opportunity because of technology, and it just keeps getting better and better and better.
Yep. All the time. Like you said, it's the worst it ever will be right now. And it's always getting better. And so you can take this, and when you want to learn something, test it. Matter of fact, I would encourage it. David, I'd love to hear from you when you get a chance to do it. Do some tests on that study and learn and try something. Like, for instance, with endo or perio or something related to that, and say, tell me about that. And what about this? And you know the technical terms, and see how it does. I'd be curious on that to see if it's good. And if you wanted to learn a new topic, say a new technique that comes out or something new in dentistry that we would hear from the ADA, they would say, okay, this is new. Well, let's see if ChatGPT can come up to speed on that and teach us how to do that and get us up to speed very quickly.
Now, Terry, one of the things I remember when I heard about ChatGPT 18 months ago was that the information that it was sourcing from was 1 or 2 years out of date already. How is it now in terms of ChatGPT 5? How current is its pool of knowledge?
Yeah, what you're saying is right. What it did is had a cutoff date of a couple years ago. I forget the exact date. I think it was like October of 2021 or 2022, whatever it was. So if you said, what's going on right now, it wouldn't know about that. And if you said, who is the current prime minister in Australia, it wouldn't know that. Or it said, well, it was at this date, here was the person. But now they do real time. So with ChatGPT, it will tell you, and a good way to find out, you want to know a little trick? You're right now, wherever you are, you can say, what is the current temperature in, put it in there. What time, what's going on with the news right now? And you can find out, is it up to date? Knowing I'll often ask for the top 5 news stories right now. And by the way, David, I also do that from various points of view. Over here in the States, I got a feeling it's similar in Australia. You have one group that thinks this way, another group that thinks that way, and they're always fighting each other. I want to hear what everybody's saying. Tell me what, say 4 or 5 of them, and I want to see that can let me know, are they up to date? If it's talking about something that happened 3 months ago, then we know that. But if I'm seeing they're talking about what's going on right now, what are they debating in Canberra right now? What are they debating in Washington, D.C., in Tokyo, in London, wherever? Where are they now? Then I can see if it's up to date. That's a good test that you can use. And then try that idea of also looking at several different points of view. I regularly do that. I want to hear what this side and that side and these others in the middle here are saying. So then I get kind of an amalgamation of it, and I come up with my own ideas. And basically I come up with all of you wrong in some areas and you're right in some areas too. So that's it. I'm going to do my own thinking. Thank you very much.
Well, it's funny that you should say that, Terry, because I've come to the realization with politics that for every person who's intelligent, there's somebody with not much intelligence who counters their vote. It really comes down to a few people in the middle who are the last minute deciders. They haven't made up their mind, and we're seeing that now with politics and elections. That most people are just voting weeks and even months beforehand. Now it's just in that last little thing. I think it was Jim Rohn. Who said
Jim
that
Rohn, yeah. He was a
said that
CPAE,
politics, he said,
Speaker Hall of Fame.
it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter about politics. He says people are successful when the economy's bad and people are failing when the economy's good. It's you make your own success. And I think what people can get from this podcast interview is that there are a lot of tools out there that you can use to help you differentiate yourself from the general noise in the environment by just using the tools and doing your homework and getting that little step ahead of everybody else.
Absolutely. And matter of fact, one of the things that can be done, would it be all right if I mention a resource we have that's free that'll help people learn that? There's a tool that we have available called AI Tools for the number 4 biz.com. AITools4biz.com. It is a compilation of many different tools that we recommend. So you can look at video, you can read some text on it, you can find out how to use these tools like we've been talking about here, learn it, and share it with those in your office so they can see it as well. There's no charge to it. Just go in there. It's a way for us to get to know you. We want you to get to know us, and hey, we might do something later on down the road, but this is free and we keep it updated. We go back with new information. So that way you're going to do it. And that's what you want. You want to get a community where you can find out what's going on with AI or this or that today. This is why we have required continued professional education for dentists, for doctors, for lawyers. It's because the world is changing. And you can't say, well, this is the way we did it 5 years ago. Well, that's real good, Sparky, but it ain't 5 years ago anymore. So you got to come up to speed now. And a way to do that is have the right communities and stay up with tools that will show you what's going on a regular basis.
Terry, is there any other way that my viewers and listeners can get in touch with you if they need to? What's the best way?
One of the best ways would be go over to, my website will help a lot, terrybrock.com. And since those two can be spelled different ways, Terry is spelled Terry, and Brock is spelled the right way, Brock. So terrybrock.com, you'll see the website there, and drop me a note if you've watched this, if you like something, or if you didn't like something, you disagree. I want to hear from you, and I want to hear what you think and how you're using it, because things really are changing so fast. We can't always do it ourselves. One of the programs that we have with my fiance and partner, Gina Carr, is we have our Stark Raving Entrepreneurs, helping entrepreneurs learn about it. And one of the things we say regularly is that old Japanese phrase, so true, none of us is as smart as all of us. And so we find pulling together, we're learning. We'll find, I know something about this, but I don't know this, but you know that. We help each other. None of us is as smart as all of us. So it's important to be involved in a good community. David, I'm going to embarrass you a little bit here. You got a great community here. You got people in your podcast are watching it. You're helping many people. Yes, dentists, but many others as well. And on behalf of all of them, thank you very much, sir. Really appreciate what you are doing and what you have done.
Well, Terry Brock, thank you for that promo, and thank you very much for that plug, and thank you for your time, and thank you for being a guest on the Ultimate Dental Podcast. It's been great.
It's an honor to be with you, sir. Thank you, mate.
Thanks, mate.
Thank you for tuning in to another inspiring episode of the Ultimate Dental Podcast. We appreciate each and every one of you for being a part of our dental community and joining us each week on this incredible journey. If you found value in today's episode and you don't want to miss out on future episodes packed with expert insights and actionable strategies, here's how you can stay connected with us. Firstly, hit that subscribe button. Whether you're listening on your favorite podcast platform or watching on our website, subscribing ensures you'll never miss an episode. Secondly, share the love. If you know a fellow dentist or colleague who could benefit from the wisdom and knowledge that we share here, please share our podcast with them. Also, please share the podcast on your socials by simply clicking on the social icons wherever you view or listen to this podcast. Together, we can all do our bit to elevate the dental profession. And finally, stay engaged with us. We love hearing from you. Your questions, comments, and feedback fuel our mission to provide the best content for your professional growth, your personal growth, and for your practice growth. Remember, your journey to creating a dental practice and a business life that you love is our mission, and we're excited to be your trusted guide along the way. Thank you for being a part of the Ultimate Dental Podcast. Until next time, keep smiling, Keep striving and keep on tuning in to the Ultimate Dental Podcast.